you have to continuously, listen and be encouraged by people who have already done, what you're trying to do. You understand what I'm saying? The other day, my new thing is like scrolling through TikToks and Reels. And I was sharing this with a friend of mine because there's so much inspirational stuff on there. Some days I just roll over and for like the first 10 minutes of my day, I scroll through Reels and I listen to like all these inspirational 10-second or 15-second clippets of different pastors and preachers and spiritual motivators to kind of get myself going. And I scrolled across Rihanna recently, and she said something to the effect of, how can I say it? Like, you got to step into every day being fierce. And if you don't feel fierce that day, fake it. Like, don't let them see you, basically not on top of your shit. And that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I'm going to tell you that as inspiring and as uplifting as I am and as positive as I am, right? I'm going to tell you that I don't always wake up feeling that way. There are days where I wake up overwhelmed and overly frustrated with the things I'm trying to do. I feel like in so many situations I have to fight for what's right? I got to go back and forth with my job about making sure that they paid me appropriately. I have to go back and forth with the company that produces labels for my small business to make sure the labels look exactly how I want it, because I cannot put a product out that is not exactly what I want and does not look exactly the way I want it to look. You feel me? So I feel like this is an ongoing thing for me. And I'm always going to make sure that I show up and show out for what I feel like I need, right? I realize that there are days where I just wake up and I just wish that things were right? Can I not have to go back and forth with the label company today? Can I wake up and my check be what it's supposed to be, right? Can you have not missed that extra shift I worked or some extra hours, right? I'm emailing in my certifications to my job. Can you have checked them before you email me and ask why I haven't done what I'm supposed to do? For me, I feel like it's constant. It's a constant battle some days. But what I won't do is back down. And what I will do is always show up and show out. That's why it was so important when I was listening to that quote from Rihanna. That's why it was so important to me that day, because that was one of those days I was feeling like I'm so tired of always having to advocate, right, for myself, right? And even though I should always feel that way, some days I just want things to be right. Some days I don't want to have to go back and forth. So particularly when I was listening to her, it made me feel like that. It made me say, you know what? I have to always be fierce and I have to always be on top of things, even when I don't feel like it. Something else I can compare it to is I work 12-hour shifts, right? And there are days when I come home and I'm just exhausted. But me and my son have a relationship where anything he feel like he can't handle in his academics, he's going to chime me in on, which most times he doesn't. But when it comes to like writing papers and stuff, he always wants to make sure his grammar is in line. So he'll write his paper and he'll have me go back through it to make sure his grammar is appropriate. And sometimes by the time he's done doing what he needs to do, it's late and I'm tired and I'm worn up and I'm worn out. And I have to remind myself, I got to show up and show out for him. Right? He deserves all the time and attention just as much as my jobs does, just as my small business does, if not to a degree even more important than those things, because that's my seed and I want to ensure that I do my part to assist him with his success, And again, I'm listening to the reels and they're inspiring me and they are pushing me to my potential so I can make sure that everything I have my hands in is acceptable. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's normal for you to wake up some days and just not be in the mood, normal, right? I'm grinding. I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing all that I can to make sure that I keep my household in line, to keep my son, it's best. I want him to be the best human being he can be. So that's planting and molding and, and making sure that I'm reiterating and communicating with him appropriately and that I'm educating him and that I'm uplifting him. That takes time and energy, right? As well as when I go to work and have my patients, I have to make sure that my demeanor is appropriate, my mood is appropriate, right? That I'm doing all the things that I'm mentally capable of making sure that when I'm assessing my patient, everything is in line to make sure that they have the optimal care. For me, it's like, it's consistent. It's always in every aspect of my life. I'm required to be successful and I'm required to do things to benefit whoever I'm servicing at the time. I just want to let you guys know that you won't always feel good. But you have to show up for yourself, despite how you feel, despite your mood. I always say the best moves are made not based on feeling, but based on actions and based on the fact that you want results. So that is my encouragement to you guys. Please stay consistent and persistent. Please show up and be fierce every day, no matter how you're feeling. This is Alicia So Awesome. It's good to see you guys. Good to talk to you guys. I'll see you guys soon.